Thank you everybody for coming. Welcome. This is the former Kepner Funeral Home, as you probably all know. Usually Jean Finstein is the one that would be speaking right now. She is at another event and will be here shortly, but I'm Debbie Griffin. I'm the president of Ritchie-Town Renaissance. I want to tell you a little bit about us first. We are a new preservation organization. We were founded last year as a result of the loss of the historic John L. Hobbs house, which is over on Howe Street, just around the corner and down a little bit. That house was the last link to the South Wheeling glass industry, and unfortunately, it wasn't able to be saved. The South Wheeling Preservation Alliance is an organization that's been in this neighborhood for over 15 years and does great work, but they were not set up to do actual physical preservation. So as a result of that loss, a group of us, including Brother John Bird, who's here somewhere, right here, all of the two founders of the South Wheeling Preservation Alliance, joined together to form this new organization. And we do have tax exemption, so all donations are tax deductible, and we also will be able to qualify for more grants because of having the tax exempt status. So that's a little bit about us. Probably many of you read the newspaper, and so heard a little bit about the story, or heard at other places that last winter the sprinkler lines broke on the 3rd floor, and it rained inside for several days because it was right around Christmas. Nobody was in here, and just flooded the place. And the fire department came to try to shut the water off, and there was 7 feet of water in the basement. They had to shut it off out of the street. So it was all mitigated by Panhandle, but Kepner decided not to. They didn't want to put any more money in this building because it was going to cost quite a bit, as you can see, to turn it back into what it was, which I wasn't ever in here when it was a funeral home, but I've been hearing comments from you here today about how beautiful it was. And so they had put in a request for demolition. Now, because this building is a contributing building to the South Wheeling Historic District, when you request to demolish a building like that, it has to go before the City Historic Landmarks Commission. And we heard about it, and a bunch of us came with the intention of trying to get a 60-day stay on the demolition so that we could work with Kepners to try to come up with a solution that was not demolition. Well, I walked into the meeting, and Jean had already met Jim Kepner. She introduced me to him and said, he's willing to give us the building. So that's how it started, that very day. And so we've been working toward that for several months. This was, I think, June 1st. So we've been working on this for some time, doing our due diligence and working things out, and we now have possession of the building as of last month. So that's where we are. We're looking to possibly have an artist workspace in here where people can come and rent space to do their art and sell, possibly in a shop type of area that would be open, not full time, but periodically. So that's the thought right now. That may or may not be what ends up happening. It does need a lot of work, as you can see, including, in addition to all the walls and things, it needs a lot of life safety things, upgrades, exit signage, lighting. Those doors in the back are going to have to be changed out behind us. And many other things. The electrical is pretty old. So it is going to take some work, and we're going to be going after grants, but we would appreciate any support, public support, because we do have to match grants with our own money, so please feel free to donate. I'll give you a little bit of history on the building. This is also on this board. Where you came in over there, that portion of the building was built approximately 1852 by Augustus Handlan, who purchased the lot in 1851. And it does show on the first Wheeling map in 1853. And you can see that on this board here. He operated a dry goods and grocery store in here. After a few years, he sold it to his brother John, who was quite a prominent person in South Wheeling. And John and his another brother William operated a grocery dry goods for some years. And then it changed names a couple times. You can Handlan and Radcliffe. And then I think Radcliffe took it over. This part right up here was, the first floor at least, was built by 1890. We don't know exactly when, but it shows on an 1890 map. And Cooey Vince was formed in 1897, and they rented the older part. And after a few years, they did so well that they started expanding, and they bought the building that was here, up here, not where we are right now, in 1902. And by 1907, they had expanded it up to 3 stories and constructed this part where we're standing now, which is actually 4 stories, which you'll see when we get upstairs. So they did very well, and they had a furniture store and funeral home, which was a common combination those days because the people that made the caskets also made furniture. So that was a very common, you see that a lot of places, that that was a common combination. So again, Co-Events did so well that in 1914 they started building across the street and built half of the building that's over there and moved the furniture store to that building in 1915, and this became the funeral home exclusively. Then Co-Events built the other half of that building in 1923. So Co-Events was in this building with the funeral home until 1941, when the whole business was sold to Kepner. And so the building and the business and the Co-Events funeral home ceased to exist at that time, became Kepner. So you can see some pictures on this board, and but that's the general history. So Kepner owned it for over 80 years until last month. So does anybody have any questions?
I did. Did Co-Events ever use as a residence or just a business?
I don't think so. I don't think so. There is an apartment upstairs that you'll see on the 2nd floor, that was put in, we think, possibly when Kepner took over. In fact, probably many of you know C.J. Kaiser, the attorney. His father was the director here, and he lived in that apartment upstairs when he was a baby in the late 40s and early 50s. And his parents were building a house, but they lived upstairs in that apartment for a couple of years. So you'll see it when you go upstairs. But other than that, it was, as far as we know, it wasn't a residence. So.
Is there a furnace? What kind of shape is it in?
Well, it needs some work. That's why the heat's not on. We are still waiting for an estimate, and we probably will be getting multiple estimates, but there's a couple of the pumps that are out and a couple other things we were told, but we haven't gotten pricing yet. But we will obviously be taking care of that as soon as we can, but of course we had to shut the water off because we don't want a similar problem. Now that the sprinklers were not pressurized now anyway. We had a sprinkler person come out and look and he said there's no water in the sprinkler system because we haven't had that tested yet. We do believe it's been repaired. It looks like it. It's upstairs on the 3rd floor, but we haven't tested it. And obviously we have to have heat to have water to have sprinklers, and we have to have water to have heat because it's a boiler system. So right now the heat's off, and that's why we told you to dress warmly. And it was supposed to be a lot warmer outside than it is today. So, anything else? Anybody else have any questions? We'll go around the 1st floor and then we'll go upstairs. Okay?
I have a comment. I'm thrilled that you are part of the undertaking. And I'm thrilled with Jim Kepner for doing it.
Yes, and he, I forgot to mention, this is something I was going to say. He mentioned this in the article. He mentioned this in the article about being a win-win situation because they donated the building, they are getting a tax deduction because it's tax deductible, and they had a demo, which was going to be quite expensive. One of the other wins is us because we're getting this building for free. And there's also a 3rd win, and that's the community, the neighborhood, because they're not losing another historic building. As probably any of you that live in South Lily know, the 2 buildings across the street, just earlier this year, were both demolished because they were in such bad shape. A case of demolition by neglect, as we call it. So we're happy to save this building, and we're hoping to do something constructive with it that will benefit the neighborhood of South Wayland. So.
Well, the whole city is benefiting by saving this.
Yeah, yes, that's true. That's true.
What kind of shape is the roof in?
The roof is in good shape. It's structurally sound and the roof is in good shape. Because otherwise we would have really been thinking twice about taking it on. There's still a lot of work here, but those are a couple of real biggies, as you know.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, well let's walk around then as I said, this part was added. Hi, here's Jean.
Let me add some movement suggestions. There are better stairs to the second floor in the south side of the building. So we would recommend that you use those when you go up. The stairs between the second and the third floor are very similar to this, so just a couple people at a time for safety. And then the same way between the third floor and the fourth floor. They're old, so just be careful.
And I want to also add that the banister out here is a little bit wobbly, so we would recommend not having too many people on this stair either, because it does shake a little bit. And
The other floors are similar to this, so you're not missing a whole lot if you decide not to go upstairs. They're all down to the studs, except for the fourth floor. And the fourth floor was just a storage room, so there's nothing exciting up there. So you kind of have seen everything just about on this floor. So just be very, very careful if you do decide to go up.
And there are a lot of places on the wood floor where there are pieces of wood that are nailed down, so watch your step, don't trip. You'll see that a lot on the second floor. Okay.
The basement's good, we can get it.
Yeah, we can go to the basement. So I'm going to kind of give a tour around and then people can wander. So this part, as I said, was added in 1907, we believe. And there is a freight elevator. It was legal until October. That's when the thing expired. We will be having that inspected and get that back into the service at some point. But I know Kepner used it when they cleaned out the building, so it was used in the past year. So we believe that should be working. We just have to work out a couple of details to have that inspected. So these two rooms up here, of course, when I need rooms for funerals. There is a restroom that doesn't work. We have the water off, so it's out of order right now. So this area was a kitchen, and we'll probably make that a break room, which will be a community space. If we have an artist workshop in here, we will be renting spaces to people, but there will be common areas that will be open to all the tenants. We also would need to have this open because you couldn't get from here to the front without going through here or going through somebody's space. So this will be a common space if we do what we're thinking about doing. So. They did salvage the doors, so we do have those.
And a hockey stick.
And a hockey stick. And unfortunately, they did not save the woodwork, which was it's a shame.
I know.
We haven't found any woodwork at all, so. There's already a sink hook up here. I believe this was the kitchen. They had it as a kitchen. They left that refrigerator, which we haven't checked to see if it works. Hopefully it will.
I was just so used to being there, I just like,
Now we are in the 1852 part. All these stud walls were built, they weren't original. They were probably built either by Kepner or possibly Benz. I'm guessing probably Kepner's after they took it over. I did find an advertisement in 1941, about a month after they bought it, and they said they did a lot of interior remodeling, so they may have built these subdivided partitions. Because these wouldn't have been in here when it was a store. It would have been all.
Where was the actual leak? Was it up?
It's on the third floor.
Oh, that's why they got
Yeah.
screwed.
Yeah, the fourth floor didn't get rain, but the rest of it did. This was a restroom, and we'll probably make that a handicap accessible restroom. It's got the plumbing. We don't know what kind of shape it's in, but. This is the Jacob Street. This is the entrance to Jacob Street. And I think these were here just for privacy as people were coming in, so if there was something going on. were found up in the 4th floor.
Okay.
We brought them down to make it a little bit Christmassy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go upstairs if anyone wants to follow.
Good, sorry, Joanne.
Oh, I'm okay. You said it and I missed it still.
Like I said, this banister's a little bit
Oh,
wobbly,
yeah.
so be careful.
Well,
Let's not have too many people holding on at one time. The floor is especially rough up here, so watch your step.
whoa.
So this was the apartment that was put in. The kitchen was in there.
Okay.
And then
Okay. Okay.
was a restroom up here, which so we'll be able to use that to put a restroom up here.
Wow.
They left the sink, but they didn't leave anything else. So I think this was the living room of the apartment. This was probably a bedroom, bathroom, kids' room, kitchen, and that. So this may have been done by Kepner, we're guessing. It's like I said, C.J. Kaiser lived here as an infant. So now this is the old part we're in. This is the new part. Notice the difference in floor
Yep.
height, which is much greater than on the first floor. Not quite sure why that is, but it's going to be pretty much impossible to make this floor handicap accessible because of this. Plus the elevator is a freight elevator. Most of the light bulbs are out. There's a couple of really cool light fixtures.
Oh, I see that. I'll have to get pictures of that.
Yeah. Now this is in the back part again, the 4-story.
Yeah.
Where we started.
This is the 4-story part.
Yes. And so
Freight elevator. Oh,
got a nice view. These windows are in very bad shape. As you can see that big gap up there on the one on the left.
yeah.
We have a grant. We've already submitted a grant application. Get some work done on those.
Okay.
Now this is the only way to the 3rd floor, and so you have to have 2 means of egress in order to occupy space by fire code. So if we were to develop the 3rd and 4th, we would have to have a fire escape or something installed. Because this is the only stair. There's 2 stairs here, and then when we came up, there only 1 stair from here. So I got kind of tricky, so you guys can go first, I'll follow.
Did you strip these walls?
We haven't done anything.
I'm wondering why they did that.
I don't know, they may have had, they weren't really using this part at all, so it might just be from the folder from years ago and hasn't been anything done. That's some interesting lighting up there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if any of it works. I'm sure it would all have to be rewired. But this would have been, a showplace space or display space.
Even if you could do something, have a venue.
Yeah. The only trouble with doing something on the 2nd floor, like I said, we couldn't make it accessible.
No.
Because of the floor height differences.
We have a question. What will become of this building? You're going to repeat what you said you're going to use it for?
We are looking into creating an artisan and artist workspace. We've had some interest. So that's one of our possibilities. Our most serious one right now.
Thank you.
One of the benefits of doing the workspace is it doesn't have to be as fancy and finished
Right.
as it was.
Okay. We'll go up now. We'll have to wait. Go this way. Oh. There's a cord there that my foot saw it. Okay. I'm holding on. Whoa.
There is a light switch right above your head.
Oh, crap.
I think they took it out from these sprinklers.
I can't do that stairwell.
You need light?
No. I'm scared of heights.
Oh, shoot.
That's
Oh, my gosh.
Fortunately, a lot of these
I don't know how I'm going to
lights
get
now,
down.
we try to get everything turned on.
Oh, got some of those. Okay. Make sure we don't slide.
So we are on the third floor now. This part was Handlan's Hall.
Uh-huh.
Back in the 1800s, it was the Oddfellows moved in here about 1859, so pretty early.
Wow.
They weren't here the whole time, but other organizations used it as well. You can see there's a lot of yellow tape. Those are all broken, cracked windows that will eventually have to be replaced. But I think Panhandle put that up, I guess. So we will try to tape those up in the short run once we get here. You can see there was an opening here.
Oh, yeah. Death by... That's pretty.
Like I said before, I don't know if you've heard, there's only one set of stairs up here. So if we were to rent it out, we would have to have a fire escape probably in the back.
Do you know anything about
Fire?
Well, we have our brother runs that.
Yeah, well, if they were here, then we'll probably sell them. So. They were left here.
Wow.
And they left us a couple of really nice dollies too. I'm sure they were
Yeah,
used for
them-
coffins, but they were great for other stuff as well.
them are
One of
nice.
them- one of the fourth floors.
Like that, dollies like that. I've used a few of those in the past.
So we'll go on up to the fourth. Most everybody just
Yep.
went on. The fourth is not a full story. It's only over this back part.
Okay.
But it's got a great view.
Good genes here.
got a great view.
End it here. The elevator.
Okay, so this is the fourth floor. This is the end of the tour. Thank you for coming.
Anything you want to say, Jean?
Okay, well, this was a combination Richardtown Renaissance and Friends Wheeling Tour. So, Merry Christmas to all, and we will see you in 2024.